MargaretWerry.com.
Fell into the gap, they rock in the hood. Seen peace in the streets when I stopped in the hood. We gon' keep it alive like hip-hop in the hood. It's good when love don't stop in the hood. It's a celebration, like Dave Chappelle. Hugs to the fam, kisses under the missile. So when I flow, feel the power in rap mask. People giving me love, I'm seeing the gap mask. Gifted like Christmas, so I love the rap. We gon' give it to the world, peace, love, and gap. Give it to the world, peace, love, and gap. We gon' give it to the world, peace, love, and gap.
Tim, who's the target market for this one?
I don't know. I don't think there is one. I think this ad is stupid enough that it will turn off both hip-hop fans and people who hate hip-hop. It's like the most phony, and this is what happens with any underground scene. I've seen it with the hippies, with the punks, with the beatniks. The mass media, the mainstream media, picks it up and completely neuters it. I'd love to see NWA doing a Gap ad, you know, or Ice T, you know.
Well, you know, there's a huge online debate about this ad.
Oh, I didn't.
With, you know, people saying, oh, God, Common, who is the rapper here, who, like, has made a career from doing sort of cleaned up rap, you know. It's okay to rap about love and spirituality, and we don't have to talk gangster, has been his sort of, well, I mean, as I understand, one of his lines. So in some ways, he was a really appropriate branding choice for Gap. But there's this raging debate online, like, is Common selling out by selling, you know, by basically singing for the man, singing for the big corporation, you know, which has this reputation for sweatshop labor, etc. Or does he really like Gap clothes? And for me, I found this ad vaguely embarrassing. It was like watching an 80-year-old woman dress up in stilettos. Like, you know, the way that they try to appropriate blackness as a transgressive stance, right? But Gap is, you know, so sort of, you know, appropriate the aesthetic of hip-hop. But Gap is like the widest, preppiest, most middle-class, most conformist aesthetic. And it has been from the get-go. So you've already got this bizarre dissonance here that just doesn't work for me.
But
I find it
I'm
really
not actually sure that
uncomfortable.
that's right. I mean, look at all the designers like Tommy Hilfiger, who really, you know, clearly went after the rap guys. And all these guys, and why do they do it? It's because, I mean, certainly when I was growing up, which seems so long ago now, but you know, it was the suburban white kids who wanted to listen to rap music,
exactly.
and who, you know,
And so they were sexing up their products
exactly
through
so,
appropriating
you know,
blackness.
exactly. So they're appropriating this, but now I'm thinking, well, okay, am I the target audience? Because I don't think that suburban white kids nowadays are really so into rap. Maybe they are, maybe I've missed that, but it seems like they're not. And so is it us older suburban white kids who suddenly are now trying to, you know, who is it that they're trying to get? I'm not sure.
Well, I think that this is aimed at the younger viewer, or I think the word Christmas is actually in the song.
No, it's not,
Oh, it
which is
isn't?
fascinating. It's all about Christmas, and they never mention Christmas, and there's a big online debate about that as well.
My. Oh my!
Yeah.
Well, we don't have to only buy gifts for people at Christmas time, and so wrong foot forward on that one. But I do think it's also for people that are buying for the younger person. So it's not necessarily aimed at the really cool urban Afro-American. It can be somebody who's just trying to who might be 40s, 50s, 60s, who's actually purchasing something for their daughter, their friend, or something like this. I'm of a mixed mind on this. I do think it is the commercial is trying to move Gap outside of, yes, simply white culture. That's absolutely right. And to get away from, you know, I mean, for a while we were only thinking of the Gap in relationship to Monica Lewinsky's dress. I mean, there was a time when that was a big deal. And I think by appropriating, you know, these bizarre images of, you know, from the 60s, my era in a way, you know, the peace sign, peace, love, I mean, it doesn't ring true and authentic and so on, but they are trying to make an effort to see Gap as a world, producing world clothes that go out of the suburbs.
Through world labor.
Yes, that is absolutely true.
Which is sort of disingenuous.
It's good when love
That's
don't
right.
stop in the hood. I wasn't quite sure what he meant by that. I mean,
Yeah,
all the ambiguity kind of jumps out at you really quickly.
it's so insipid too. It's so insipid and
no, but then
homogenous.
He sticks in the Dave Chappelle. I mean, come on.
Who is Dave Chappelle? Is it Dave Chappelle?
Dave Chappelle, but there's
Crossed
a pun
with
on
champagne and
Ripple.
Ripple.
Yeah, Ripple.
The Sanford and Son.
Yeah.
back in the day.
That's just, to me, it's an incredibly dull, uninteresting, and insipid ad.
It is until you start juxtaposing it in the wrong place. And you,
Well, that's what we're supposed to do. Yeah,
Peace, love,
we're supposed to
Halliburton. You don't
imagine
hear
Luther
that.
Campbell doing it for FUBU instead of. Yeah.
Come on, your Gap is the empire of beige, right?
Actually,
The
this
empire of
funny
beige for
is I
decades.
was joking with my wife because I often show her the commercials and
Mm-hmm.
say, you know, what I'm writing about. And I said something about the only thing that could be worse would be if it was an ad for Old Navy, and she told me the Gap owns Old Navy, which I didn't know.
Still, I'm glad that the companies at least find it. I think it's a good sign culturally that they find advertising peace and love a good thing. I mean, they are definitely behind this. I mean, it's not war, hate, and the Gap. I mean, they are trying to they're trying to market peace clothes.
But they've co-opted that ever since the Coke I Want to Teach the World to Sing. They've been
And I'm afraid
And I
world
fell
peace
for it.
hasn't happened yet.
yeah, oh, really? Everyone knows that song our age. Yeah.
better to co-opt it, though, than to just try and out kill it. So, yeah. Anyway, time for our exit question. What's going on inside your hood, Margaret?
Nothing as embarrassing as that ad.
April?
Now that the semester's over, peace and quiet.
Charles?
They're watching Mental Engineering.
Tim?
I hear they're putting in a Gap.
I think in a dialogue, and it's noisy in here. That's all we've got time for. Come play with us again next week on Mental Engineering. Yay! Margaret's always laughing, and I never know what she's thinking.